Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're exploring a world that's literally everywhere. In the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even inside our own bodies. But the catch is, it's completely invisible.
So let's go on a journey, right? We're going to go way beyond what our eyes can see into this hidden universe. And what we'll find is that a single drop of water, a tiny speck of dust, even our own bodies are just absolutely teeming with life.
You know, for most of human history, a huge part of reality was completely hidden from us. And the reason was pretty simple. Our eyes just have their limits. Anything smaller than what we could see was a total mystery.
So, the very first key to this invisible world was just a simple piece of glass. And because it was shaped like a lentil seed, it was called a lens. Yeah, that's literally where the word comes from. This elegant little tool was about to change absolutely everything.
So what happens when you start combining these powerful new lenses? Well, you get one of the most important inventions in the history of science, the microscope.
This new tech just sparked a massive scientific revolution back in the 1600s. I mean, look at this timeline. In 1665, you've got Robert Hooke in England publishing these incredible drawings of the microscopic world. And at the same time, over in Holland, Antony van Leeuwenhoek was making lenses so powerful that he became the first person to ever see living, moving microbes. The race to map this new world was officially on.
This quote, this right here, captures the exact moment of discovery. When Hooke looked at a piece of cork under his microscope, he saw it was made of these tiny, empty spaces. You know, they reminded him of the small rooms or cells in a monastery. So he called them cells, and that name stuck. So what is a cell exactly? Well, this one discovery revealed a fundamental truth. All living things, from the tallest tree to the smallest bug, are built from the exact same basic blocks. Here's a great way to think about it. A single brick is pretty simple, right? But you put a bunch of them together, and they build a whole house. It's the same idea with cells. These individual cells are the building blocks for every single living thing on Earth.
But here's the thing, not all cells are the same. As you can see here, plant cells have this rigid outer wall to give them support, while animal cells are much more flexible. And plants, they have these special parts called chloroplasts to make their own food from sunlight. Basically, each cell is specialized for the job it needs to do.
So ultimately, the cell is where all the action is. Every single thing an organism does, growing, moving, even thinking, it's all just the result of billions of these tiny units working together.
And just when you think all cells have to be microscopic, get this. The yolk of an ostrich egg is a single cell. It's the largest one we know of, big enough that you can hold it right in your hand. Pretty wild, huh?
But honestly, discovering the cell was really just scratching the surface. It opened the door to an even more diverse and incredible world that was just waiting to be found, the world of microorganisms.
So, what are these microbes? Well, they're living things that are just too small to be seen with the naked eye. And as this slide shows, they are the true rulers of our planet. They're found everywhere from volcanic vents to frozen ice caps. They actually outnumber every other form of life combined.
And they are incredibly diverse. Microbes are generally organized into 4 major groups, and each one has its own unique features. You've got Protozoa, like the shape-shifting amoeba. You have Fungi, like bread mold, Algae, which act like tiny microscopic plants, and of course, the huge and varied world of bacteria.
Now, it's really easy to hear a microbe or bacteria and immediately think of germs, right? Stuff that makes us sick. But the vast majority aren't just harmless, they are absolutely essential for life on Earth. And this is why this whole hidden world matters so much to you. I mean, think about it. When plants and animals die, what happens to them? Well, microbes, especially bacteria and fungi, they get to work. They break down all that dead stuff, returning essential nutrients back into the soil so that new life can grow. Without them, the planet would literally be buried in its own waste. Microbes are also hard at work in our kitchens. The next time you eat a piece of bread, you can thank yeast. As you can see, when yeast munches on the sugar and dough, it releases little bubbles of carbon dioxide gas. And those bubbles get trapped, which is what makes the dough rise and gives bread that light, fluffy texture we all love. A really similar process happens with yogurt. In this case, it's a type of bacteria called lactobacillus that does all the work. It eats the sugar in milk and produces lactic acid. And that's what thickens the milk and gives yogurt its distinct tangy flavor.
Okay, but this might be the most staggering contribution from the microbial world. We often think of rainforests as the lungs of the planet, but just look at this. When it comes to making oxygen, all the trees and plants on land have some serious competition.
More than half, let me say that again, more than half of all the oxygen on Earth is produced by microscopic algae in our oceans, lakes, and rivers. So for every 2 breaths you take, one of them comes from these tiny, invisible powerhouses. It's just incredible.
So, from the cells that build our bodies to the microbes that clean our water and create the very air we breathe, we've seen that this hidden, invisible world underpins everything we know. It's a whole universe of its own, operating on a scale we can't see, but one we absolutely can't live without. It just leaves you wondering, what other secrets is it hiding?